This video is a continuation of the API front-end project series, so you can check out my channel and check out these videos here. We also have the API backend project series. So right now we're gonna be dealing with the register and login. So right now, to do that, we're gonna be using UseState and UseEffect. Also, we're gonna be using the Redux DevTool. So you can go to Google and just type Redux DevTools Chrome Web Store, and it's gonna be this option, so you can install it. And if you go, let me see, if you press Ctrl+Shift+I and you click here in these double angle brackets and you go into Redux, so this is what you are gonna see. But I'm gonna close this, or I'm just gonna leave it like that. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna go into my terminal. I'm gonna make it a little bigger. I'm gonna press ls, I'm gonna press cd, and then I'm gonna go to a folder that I have that is named express. I'm gonna type ls again, and I have an API folder here. So I'm gonna type code space that, so I can open it in Visual Studio Code. And right now, let me see what is the, okay, from is my script, so I can open npm run from like this. So this is gonna be opening in localhost 3000. So right now we're gonna go here, and if you press Ctrl+Shift+I and you go here into this right angle brackets, you can go into Redux, and this is gonna be your Redux DevTools that you install it using the Chrome Web Store. So that is that. And yeah, we're gonna be using UseState. UseState is a React hook that lets you add a state variable to your component. So we're gonna have our state, that is the cons, and then in brackets state and set state, and we're gonna set it to the UseState, and then we're gonna pass in the initial state. We have the UseEffect. UseEffect is a React hook that lets you synchronize a component with an external system. So you have UseState, as a parameters we have the setup and the dependencies. So we have that. So right now we're gonna go into the front end folder. We're gonna go into source, and we're gonna go into menu. So now we're gonna go into the register, and first we're gonna import UseState. Let me see, it's gonna be UseState. It has to be camel notation. UseState, okay, it brings it from React. And also UseEffect, make sure that you're using camel notation. Okay, so we're gonna import UseState and UseEffect from React. And okay, so that's, yeah, that is what we need. And inside of the register, inside of the function register, we're gonna bring in our state that is gonna be pretty much, it's gonna follow the syntax. So we're gonna be using const like this. It's gonna be const brackets, and now we're gonna use form data. So we're gonna use form data again, camel notation, and here we're gonna use set form data like this, set form data. So we're using this as a example, UseState, set state, and then we're gonna initialize it to the UseState. So we're gonna UseState, and inside of the parentheses now we're gonna have an object, and this object is gonna take some properties. There's gonna be name. We're gonna leave it to an empty string. We're gonna have name, email. Again, we're gonna set it to an empty string. What else? We have password like this, and again set up to an empty string. And then we can put in, I don't know, like we can put in confirm password like this, and also set up to an empty string so we can save it. So in our object we have, okay, so we have name, email, password, and then your confirm password. So that is that. Now what we are gonna do is before we start working in the return, just above of the return, what we are gonna do is we're gonna destructure it. So we're gonna destructure name, we're gonna destructure email, we're gonna destructure the password, and we're gonna destructure the C password, and it's gonna be from this one, for the for data, from the form data, like that. So we are destructuring, and now we can work in our return. So let me see. So okay, so we have an h1, so let's save it for now and let's see how it looks like. Okay, let's close this one. So we have the register. Okay, it just says register. Below of the h1, let's just put a paragraph. So this is a register. Create an account, create an account, like this. So let's save it. And okay, so it appears here, create an account. If we go into login, nothing appears. Okay, create an account. Okay, so, and again, we are using, this is a register.jsx, so this is, we need to use JSX rules. And remember, all our code has to be inside of a div or empty angle brackets or empty fragments. So here we have a section, we're gonna create another section, like that, section. And okay, let me see. Okay, inside this section we are gonna create a form. We're gonna create a form, and inside of the form we are gonna have some input. So inside of this section we are gonna have a form, like I said. Let me see, let's move it a little bit, and inside of this we're gonna have an input. Okay, so okay, we don't need that. We have an input, a space, slash, and then we close it. So this is how we're gonna do our input. So right now what we are gonna do is we're gonna have the name. Okay, let me see, let's move it like that. So the type is gonna be, since we are gonna write something and the type is gonna be text, we are gonna have an ID. And okay, the ID is gonna be, in this case, is gonna be name, since we're using a name, an email, password, and the C password. And here we don't need to put a comma, but we're also gonna have the name, and this one is gonna be just name. What else do we have? We have the value, and the value is gonna be set to, okay, so that's it automatically for us. It has to be inside, has to be set to curly braces, and we're gonna pass in name. So we have the type, ID, name, value, and now we're gonna have our placeholder. And the placeholders is the thing that is gonna appear in the output. So it's gonna be enter your name, like that. So we have the placeholder, and since we are using UseState, we are gonna need a function here. So we're gonna have on change, okay, and this one is gonna be saying on change. Okay, on change. So we have this function on change, and we can save it, and okay, so it's throwing us this error because we haven't created this function here. But we're gonna go below of our, here we're destructuring just above of the return, and we're gonna count on change, like that, on change, and we are gonna set it to this arrow function, like this, and we're gonna have an empty set of curly braces, and we're gonna pass E. And if you never see E, this E, for example, we have here the E is the React event object. Your event handlers will receive a React event object. It is also sometimes known as a synthetic event. So here, as you can see, if you ever wonder what is this E, that is the React event object, or also known as the synthetic event. It conforms to the same standard as the underlying DAG events, but fixes some browsers' inconsistencies. Some React events do not map directly to the browser's native events. For example, on mouse leave, comma, e.native event will point to a mouse event. The specific mapping is not part of the public API. It may change in the future. If you need the underlying browser event for some reason, read it from the e.native event, so you can read this